Introducing solid foods to infants can be a tricky thing for moms and dads.
Today, Stanford pediatrician Dr. Stephanie Hansen joins us to talk about some more information on how to get your kids started on solid food. So welcome back to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
So I would assume every kid's a little bit different. So how do you know if he or she's ready for some solid food?
Yeah, you know, we have some guidelines people can follow to see if their child is ready to start solid foods. Roughly, it happens at about 6 months of age. And we want kids to be able to sit relatively independently, to have good head control. They should be interested in your food, you know, really watching you when you eat and kind of leaning in. And then if you're seeing some of those signs, it's okay to get started.
Expand on that. Why is head control so important?
Well, developmentally, kids are just not ready to start foods before that, and if they're floppy in the high chair, it's going to be harder for them to use those skills they need to swallow the food properly.
Does weight have anything to do with it? We're talking age and weight, or no?
Weight. We'd like infants to be at least double their birth weight before starting solid foods, and that happens usually between 4 to 6 months of age.
Any particular solid food that's the best to kind of start with, or? You
know, traditionally people have always started with single grain cereals that are iron fortified and designed for babies, and that really is a good bet.
Now, how about, you have to hear this from new moms when they say, well, my mom or my grandma said they put, you know, the cereal in the bottle well before that. Are there problems with doing that too soon? I mean, you just talked about head control, but right? You hear that.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. And, you know, really developmentally, kids are just not ready to start to digest those cereals at that age. And waiting until 6 months is better for their development, it's better for their digestion, it's better for their nutrition. Holding off really is a better plan.
So you can tell mom or grandma, well, Dr. Hansen says.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's her phone number. But I guess expanding more on that, I guess, then, is it right to talk to your doctor, talk to your provider? Because I feel like when you're a new mom, you just have a bazillion different questions.
Yeah, I think this is something we talk about at every well-child visit. And typically at that 4 to 6 month visit, we'll introduce the topic and bring up some tips to families about how to get started.
I talk about too soon. How about waiting too long? Because I feel like with my first baby, I didn't ever want to have her on big foods or cereals.
Yeah, one of the benefits to starting at around that 6 month time mark is that babies are really eager and interested in eating. So you have an opportunity to introduce them to a variety of flavors and textures and hopefully get them on the train of eating a whole bunch of different foods.
Any foods you should absolutely ignore at that age, or?
Only one food at this point that we should stay away from, and that's honey until the age of 1. That's not really an allergy risk, it's a risk of contracting botulism, which is a dangerous infection for infants.
And you get that from honey?
From honey, yeah.
Interesting. Never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, you did not read your books when the baby was born, poor Isabella. Because I know we're talking very early in the early foods, but, you know, eggs and nuts and things like that seem like we should be scared of that, but you're not saying.
Not anymore. This is something that's really changed over the past few years, and we now know that introducing those potentially allergenic foods during infancy can actually help prevent food allergies later on in life.
And I feel like you touched on this, but getting kids to try all new things, can we try to prevent picky eaters?
You know, every kid is so different in that, and you can even have 2 kids in the same family, one picky and one not. But I think if you make eating fun, if you introduce babies to a wide variety of flavors, if you show them that you love eating a variety of different flavors, I think that'll set you up for success.
And how about, you know, when we're starting with cereals, but then we're progressing, you know, I used to like to buy those little jars of, like, kids' spaghetti. Should you do that? Do you have an opinion on buying that in the store versus, you know, giving them the spaghetti you're making for yourself?
I think either is fine. You know, really you want things that are low in sugar, low in sodium, just those healthy choices you would make for yourself. Those jarred foods are certainly convenient and can be a nice option for families.
Besides talking to your provider directly, any other great resources, you know, if you don't have the, I tease Chris about reading the books, you know, so we all have What to Expect When Expecting, and then the baby book after that. Where's a good place for people to go to kind of research where they should be?
I love the website healthychildren.org. That is put out by the American Academy of Pediatrics. It's geared towards families and their questions, and it's a very reliable and complete source of information. So I would stop there first.
If you're a new mom and you're freaking out and you don't know what to do, it's all right. That's normal.
Right.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
And make sure you schedule those well checks.
Yes.
Because then you can have the discussion with you as well.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Coming up, some important relief for that dry, itchy winter skin.